Hello and welcome to Wise Up Financial Education. My name is Lee. Thanks for joining me. And we're going to do a session now on CV writing, how you can write the perfect CV. You can see our website there. You can also scan that QR code for more information and resources and contact us on Twitter, follow us on Twitter. We've got lots of information, lots of resources out there to help improve your financial and employability skills. So do get onto our website and see what we've got to offer. So CV writing, a key to unlock a career door. Um, did you know that at the moment there's approximately 1 million young people in the UK between the ages of 18 to 25, and the vast majority of them are going to be in work or looking for work. And the problem that we have is many of them just don't get an opportunity to put their skills forward, to meet an employer, and to show that employer what they can do and what they can add. At the moment, there's between 100 to 200 applications and CVs for every single job that goes out there on the jobs market. So there's an awful lot of competition. And if your CV is in the middle of that pile, you've got very, very little chance of progressing to interview and having a chance of securing that job. So you need to make sure that your CV is in the top 10%. And that's not an easy thing to do. It's quite difficult. And so to do that, there's no one piece of advice on its own that can put you in that top 10% of CVs. So we have to take a different track. So I want to talk to you briefly about Olympic cycling. In 1992, in the Barcelona Olympics, Britain won its first Olympic gold medal for track cycling for 70 years. And up to that point, Great Britain had been keen, but frankly not very good in track cycling. But we won this gold medal the medal was won by a chap called Chris Boardman. And what it did is it got everybody excited about track cycling, and it made us really, really ambitious. At that time, we were about the 7th in the world rankings of track cycling, but there were only 8 nations that were taking track cycling seriously, and we were one of them. So we were really towards the bottom of the league tables. But we wanted to go from 7th in the league tables to first, and British cycling recognised that was going to take a long time. So the British cycling employed this gentleman here. This is Dave Brailsford, and he was a pretty good cyclist. But the thing about Dave Brailsford, he was very good at putting cycling teams together. And when Dave Brailsford took on the role, he knew that there was no one big thing he could do to move us up to the top of the world ranking in track cycling. He tinkered with an old idea, and that old idea is called the marginal gains theory. And the marginal gains theory had been used in all different walks of life, but up until this point, it had never been used in sport. And Dave said we need a 15% improvement on our track cycling to get to first in the rankings. And he said there's no one thing that we can improve 15%. There's no bicycle that's 15% better than the ones we use. There's no nutrition for our athletes that's 15% better than what we use. There's no training schedule 15% better than the one we use. And so what he said is he was going to find 20 things to improve by 0.5% to 1% to maybe 2%, all these little things, in order to get the overall 15% improvement that was needed to move us up those world rankings. And you can see the results of that now. So you can see 1996, so 4 years later, we won 2 Olympic medals. We doubled our Olympic medal haul from 1992, but we had actually gone down slightly in the world rankings. That's because a few more of the nations had got a bit more interested and involved in track cycling at that point. Then you can see 2000, so this is 8 years later, we double again our medal haul at the Olympics and move up to 5th in the world rankings. Then you can see 2004, we're up in second. By 2008, we were ranked the first nation in the world in track cycling, and that carried on in 2012, the famous London Olympics, and in 2016 as well. And so Dave Brailsford left leading British track cycling in 2012, but his legacy carried on. All those small improvements that he made put Britain at the very top flight of international cycling. And you can guarantee Dave Brailsford now, if you wanted to come and get him to lead one of your teams and improve one of your organisations, he would be able to charge a pretty penny to do so, because he's got such a fantastic track record. And so we're going to use this same theory, this marginal gains theory, to help you improve your CV. We're not going to change one thing, we're going to change lots of things marginally to improve them, so that overall your CV moves from the middle of the pack up to the top 10% of that pack, putting you in a good position to secure that job that you're going for. Okay, so really we need to start by asking this question: what is a CV? And you can see on the screen here a picture of a house key. Now I could ask you, what does a house key do? And you could say it unlocks a front door, and you would be right. However, there is a bit more detail to it than that. The house key, you can see, will open one door and one door only. And if you think about all the houses on your street or in your town, every single front door will have a different front door key, and each key will only open the one door. And your CV is like the key to the job that you want. Okay, and each job you apply for is a different job. It needs a different CV. Just like all of those front doors need a different key, all the jobs you're applying for need a slightly different CV tweaked to match that job, to get that door of opportunity open for you and get into that interview setting. So here at Wise Up, we're not keen on generic CVs or templates. What you need to do is tailor your CVs around your abilities, not squash your CVs into a tailored format that you found somewhere, perhaps online. And that is what you can do to get into the top 10%. And we're going to help you do that now. So what must you include? Make sure you include up-to-date contact details. Include your mobile phone. You're not going to have a lot of time to answer that call or return that message when they call you. Okay, recruiters will call. They'll be looking to book interviews perhaps in the next few days, perhaps in the next week or two, if you're lucky. If you don't get back to them quickly, then they're going to move on and call other candidates. They're not going to mind. They've got a stack of 100 to 200 CVs that they can choose from. It's only you that's going to miss out. So make sure you're by your phone. Make sure your phone has a voicemail attached to it. Make sure that your voicemail message that people listen to when they give their voicemail to you is, professional sounding. If you've recorded a funny voicemail to make your friends laugh at university or at college, then re-record one that sounds more neutral, more professional. Give your name, thanks for calling, I'll call you back soon. And check out your voicemails so you can get back to the recruiter. Make sure you've got an email address on your CV, and make sure, again, it sounds relatively professional. Okay, again, if at school you set up goofykid@mymail.com, that's not the email address that you want to put on your CV. You want something that perhaps includes your name and no jokes or anything of that nature. Email addresses are really easy to set up. It's the work of 5 or 10 minutes. So why not set up an email address specifically for your job applications that you're going for? So you can check it regularly, link it to your phone, to your iPad, to your laptop, to your tablet, etc. But make sure your email address, it hasn't got a jokey name, it's got a professional or neutral sounding name, because that's one thing that's sure to put recruiters off. And there's no need to include your home address. We would, in fact, say don't include your home address, because recruiters will read that and it may give them a first impression of you, which you don't want them to give, you don't want them to have. For example, they might think that everybody from your neighbourhood has got a certain set of skills. They might think everybody from your neighbourhood is perhaps too sporty or too lazy or too loud or too quiet or too posh or whatever it might be. So now those things won't be true, but people have preconceived ideas. So don't give them the opportunity to make that first impression. It may be a good first impression, it may be a bad first impression. Don't give them the opportunity. So no need to include your home address at this point. Okay, the next, make sure you print on good quality paper. Now this may seem quite a small thing, but the vast majority of paper that schools will use, that university will use, is about 80 grams. That's thin, lightweight paper. If you can get hold of some 120 gram paper, it really, really stands out. In a stack of other CVs, they will notice the difference. It will feel more expensive, it will feel more professional, it will feel more substantial. Subliminally, you're giving that recruitment worker a really good vibe, a really good first impression that you're a professional person that they want to be talking to. It's a bit more expensive, but it really, really stands out. It's a worthwhile investment. If you've got friends who are applying for jobs, why don't you pitch in together and buy a ream of 120 gram paper between you and share it out. Now, you want to print in the highest quality that your printer is gonna be available to do. Don't print in draft. Don't print in grayscale if you can avoid it. Print in high quality on good quality paper. Okay, word process your CV and use a good font. The three that we recommend are Times, Arial, and Verdana. And depending upon the type of industry you want to work in, depending upon the type of role you're going for, different fonts suit different industries. So Times, the first one there on the left, that's more of a professional appearing font. That's more of a white collar type of a job, more straight laced, maybe banking, executive, insurance. Those kinds of jobs would be appropriate to use Times for your font. Arial's a little bit looser, a little bit more rounded. It's slightly more artistic. This would be more suitable for roles which are still professional, but have got more of a creative flair to them. Something like teaching, for example, something like advertising. Serious jobs, but a little less 9 to 5 perhaps than the previous one. And then finally, Verdana. This is a very artsy font. If you're looking at game design, if you're looking at creative pursuits, you're looking at record producing, music, writing, Verdana would be really, really important, really, really suitable for these types of CVs and applications. Now, it sounds tiny. You might say, well, what kind of difference is this really going to make? But when we do this exercise in schools and colleges, we ask students to pick which font for random jobs. 90% of the time, they pick the right font for the right kind of job. So it's a subliminal message. It's going to give you 0.5%, 1% improvement on the impression somebody's going to get from your CV. But again, if we add up all of those small differences, we're going to have a big difference overall. So make sure you use a good font. Okay, use 12 points for your typing and 14 points for headings, and use bold sparingly. Bold on a word process document is like shouting when we speak. If I shout very occasionally, it gets a lot of attention. If I shout all the time, then I lose the reaction that I get from people. It's the same with bold when you use it in your documents. Only use it maximum 4 or 5 times on your CV. And keep it short, keep it to 1 page. Often recruiters, the first sort they will do is just to remove any CVs that are too long. That might not sound very fair, but if they've got 100 to 200 applications to look through, they don't have the time to read War and Peace, to read big long documents. So keep it snappy, keep it short, keep it to 1 page. Okay? Make it easy to read. Keep the layout uncluttered. Leave plenty of space around what you've written, so it's easy on the eye. And please use good English, concise sentences. Bullet points are good. If there are any mistakes, it's likely to go straight in the bin. Do a spell check and a grammar check. Okay, spell check is all well and good, but there, and there are all spelt differently. That won't be caught by the spell check, so you need to check your grammar. If this is something that you struggle with, Ask a friend, a family member, or an existing colleague to check it over for you, and to check your grammar and your spelling as well. So don't give them any reason to disregard your CV on that score. They should be able to find any of the facts they're looking for on your CV within about 2 seconds. So if all the facts are cluttered by lots of writing and lots of noise on the page, they're going to struggle to find the information they're looking for, and that's going to frustrate them, and that's not going to help you to secure that position. So make it easy for them to read. In terms of the content, write in reverse chronological order. The thing that they're really interested in is what you're doing right now before you potentially join their organization. So you can include a very short paragraph introduction about you, who you are, and what you like, but keep your most relevant recent experience first. Have a list of keywords on the left of your CV. It's easy to read, it will draw their eye, and focus on your relevant skills. This is where we tailor the CV to the specific job and the specific advert. Do a bit of research about the company, find out the kind of skills and things they like and that they're looking for. Okay, and look at your skills and include the ones that are relevant for the job application, for the job spec, description, etc., that they have put together. This is how you unlock that door with that specific key. Even two banks, for example, should have slightly different CVs, slightly different applications, because they'll have different things that they like and don't like about new employees. So do a bit of research, spend a bit of time on their website, find out what they're looking for, and tailor your CV accordingly. And think about transferable skills. Okay, list 5 transferable skills on your CV. One of them might be working with people, it might be working in a team, it might be punctuality, IT skills, might be language skills, perhaps you speak another language. All of these things are worthwhile. Anything you've done in the past, working in a fast food restaurant, doing some volunteer work, you would have picked up some of these transferable skills. Okay, now, your GCSEs, your A levels, your university degree, these are really important, but nobody gets a job based on just their A levels or just their degree. The soft skills, the transferable skills count for so much. Okay, your qualifications will get you noticed. So we know you can do things to a certain level, but after that, what they're trying to determine is who you are, how you're going to get on with people, how you're going to take criticism, how do you fit into their team. So those soft skills are really important. Okay, include details of your charity work, your voluntary work. This is really key. It looks great on a CV. Employers know that people who have done voluntary work, they pick up a great skill set. Even if you're working in a charity shop, volunteering in a charity shop, in effectively a retail setting, it might not be at all related to what you want to do, perhaps in accountancy or teaching or whatever it might be, but they know that you will have picked up a great number of skills in that environment, soft skills, which are going to hold you in good stead. So make sure you demonstrate your charity and voluntary work on your CV. If you haven't done any charity or voluntary work, do some. One day a fortnight. It'll give you so much. You'll make connections. You'll gain skills. You'll be giving back. It's going to be really good for you, and also it's going to look fantastic on your CV. Okay. Just with those soft skills, again, don't just tell me what you did in your last job. Don't just say I did 5 shifts a week at the fast food place. Let me know that you were never late for your shift. Let me know that you would get through 250 customers every shift. Let me know your till was never short. There was never a problem. You always dealt well with the customers. Okay, so don't just list what you were required to do. Tell me how well you did it. And that's gonna impress me as a recruiter. So get those things onto your CV. Organizational skills are really important. People often put down team leadership. Of course, leadership skills are important, but you almost always start in a team rather than leading a team. So make sure you get your team working skills down onto your CV so that they know that you can do it. Okay? Teamwork and organizational skills. Try and use strong action words. Okay, show what you have done, not what you've been told to do. like that fast food example. Strong action words are better than I was part of a team or I followed up on instructions. Okay. Finally, get somebody to proofread your CV. Get 2 or 3 people. And if somebody proofreads your CV and tells you that bit didn't make sense to me or that bit sounded a bit strange, take the criticism on board. They're helping you try to improve your CV. You've asked for the feedback. Take their feedback on board and listen to it. Maybe if just one person gives you feedback and you're not sure, you don't necessarily have to do that. But if you ask 3 or 4 trusted friends or family members and they're all giving you similar feedback, that's a clue to you that perhaps you need to make some of those changes that they're suggesting. Be flexible to change your CV. It should be a growing, living document. It should be changing fairly regularly whilst you're looking for work. Okay. As well as your CV, you have a covering letter. Even if they don't ask for a covering letter, always send a covering letter. Send it on a separate piece of paper in the same envelope on the same type of paper. Again, that good quality paper, that good quality printing standard. Okay. Research the address and send it to a person at that organization, not just to whom it may concern. Your information goes in the top right hand corner, the addressee in the top left hand corner, and it should be 3 short paragraphs. Okay. Paragraph 1 should be 3 lines why you're interested in that job, why you're applying. Second paragraph, 4 lines why your skills and qualifications make you a great fit for that role and that organization. And the final paragraph, 3 lines, thank them for the opportunity of applying for that job. And that's all it should be. Very short, very simple. You can add in a little bit more about yourself to give a bit of your personality, but it's got to be less than a page of A4, your covering letter. Otherwise, they're likely just to not even read it. Okay. So that covers some of the small changes you can make to move your CV from the middle of the pile to the top of the pile. There are plenty of CVs out there. Look them up for some inspiration. We've got some on our website, wiseupfinancialeducation.co.uk. But please do not use them as a strict template. Remember, always build from your skills out. So use them for inspiration, but not as a strict template. Of course, nowadays there are many types of CV, and emailing your CV in to an employer is much more prevalent, so that information about printing and stuff would not be relevant in this for this example. But when you send your CV on an email, the body of your email becomes your covering letter. So again, use that same 3-paragraph format as you would do in your covering letter. Send your CV as an attachment, and you must save it as a PDF file. Okay. Word files can change their format, so it might look great on your laptop, but if they open it on an iPad or on an Apple Mac computer or on a tablet or on a phone, the formatting can go all over the place, and instantly they can't find the information they're looking for. Okay, so save it as a PDF, send it as a PDF. Before you send it to the employer, send it to yourself, send it to a couple of friends or family members. Ask them to make sure it opens, has all your details on, ask them to check how it looks on the screen, try it on a couple of different devices. So do that work beforehand, so you know when you send it into that prospective employer, they're going to get it in the right format and it's going to look good and put you in the best position. Many companies now have online forms that you need to fill in with tick boxes, and just filling it in from your CV. One area on that will be free format. This is the part where you can put your personality on the application. Okay, so use it really well. If they say 200 words, try to use all 200 words, but don't go over it. Again, they're going to get a lot of applications. If somebody's, instead of 200 words, has written 400 or 500 words, they're very unlikely to read that. They're not going to have time to do it. Again, it might not seem fair, but it's the reality of what we're up against when we're applying for jobs. Okay, so this free form area is going to be the only part of your application form which sets you apart from somebody else. So use it and use it well. Video and telephone interviews, again, are much more common now, particularly since COVID. So practice, do it with a friend. Ask a friend or a family member, can I have half an hour of your time to practice? Let's do a video call or let's do a phone interview. Ask me a few questions. Practice. Don't just read off your CV, but do memorize your skills, your transferable skills, and things of that nature. Okay, so make sure you're really familiar with what's on your CV, so you can answer their questions, because they're going to ask you about the things on your CV. So you need to be ready to answer those questions. Okay, record yourself talking into the camera. It will feel horrible, but use it to improve. And speak slowly. There might be time lags on your phone or on your device, so speak slowly and clearly when you're having that video interview. Okay, if you put all of these little skills together, each one will add up to half or 1% improvement, and you should get up to around that 15% improvement that we're looking for, which should be enough to move you from the middle of the pack to the top 10%. Once you get to the top 10%, you're much more likely to get an interview for that job. That is the only thing your CV is for. The only purpose of your CV is to get you into that interview room or to get you onto that interview video call so you can then impress them and convince them to hire you for that position. So when it comes to the interview, check out our video on interview techniques and how to perform as well as you possibly can in that interview setting. Well, joining me for this session. I hope you found it useful. Again, do check out our website and our Twitter. We've got a lot of information, a lot of resources on there to help you with your employability journey as well as your financial skills. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you again soon.